I'm going to share with you a shtickle Sefas Emes I find amazing, and I just hope that I can express it enough that you'll understand how important this shtickle is to our daily life. Okay, so in Masei we learn in the beginning that the Ketub Moshe wrote their, meaning Klal Yisrael, Moshe wrote their departures for their travels. So this is a very awkward pasuk. The pasuk could have simply said that Moshe recorded their travels, the Bnei Yisrael's travels, or that he recorded their encampments. Why their departure points for their travels? Why do I have to know that? It seems that it's important that they would where they were departing. That the departure point is of importance. So the Sefas Emes explains that there are places that have absolutely no intrinsic importance. Rather, they are important specifically because we distance ourselves from them. So the Torah refers to the encampments of the journeys in other words, the Torah is telling us about the departure in order to accentuate this idea. In other words, that the reason these encampments were listed is because, lo and behold, we left them. As with the encampment, so too in life. There are many things whose primary reason to be in existence is to provide us with the opportunity to improve ourselves by distancing ourselves from those places. Think about it. It's a fascinating concept. In other words, there are places that are in existence simply so that we can improve ourselves by not being in those places, by distancing ourselves from those places. Let me show you a mundane example. You go on the web, the internet, I don't know what, right? And you pay your bills, or you're looking for shilrim, maybe even looking for my share. But there's a whole place, a whole universe in the internet that you have to stay away from. And by staying away from those places, you improve yourself. Because you're only been the soil, you don't get corrupted. So by not going those places, you're improving yourself. That's why I'm very much, but I keep telling people, you must have filters on all your machshirim, your phone, your iPad, your computer on the desk. Even if you're the only one using them, doesn't matter. You must have a filter. And by doing that, you are improving yourself by not going in, blundering in by a mistake or something to a place you shouldn't be. So we see that our intent and the way we relate to things affects the importance of those things. Let me, Mashver, he came from a place, I saw his birth certificate. He came from a place called Gura Kalvaya, which is in Yidden, by Yidden it was called Ger, a shtetl Ger. It had served no purpose. It was, except for the Ger Rebbe was there. It became a place that people went to that had Kedusha in its very essence of affording an aksanya for so much Kedusha. Otherwise, it wouldn't have bothered. I don't know if anyone even knows where it bothers with this place. I remember once the Baba Shlomo went back to Poland, to Galicia the first time, and he went to the Bobov, and he went to the Beis Chaim, the cemetery, and everything was disheveled, and the tzion from the Rebbe's Chambuchas, it was all thrown about. So the idea was to have some semblance of sorting it out. We're talking many years ago. And just then a non-Jewish fellow came over and said, Shlomo, do you remember me, in Polish? It was recorded in Polish, but I didn't understand. I just had someone explain it to me. This fellow's father worked in the Hoif, in the synagogue, building shelves, desks, and benches. So this man, grew up living in a world that was all about Bobov. Because without the Chassidim, that little shtetl of Bobov would be nothing. And he was telling the Rebbe, do you remember? And he said even, I remember the Rebbe, your wedding. And he sang a niggin, a non-Jewish fellow, said, Korin v'shua v'yaholei tzadikim. The Rebbe's olei mazel tov, Chassidim and mazel. This non-Jew is singing this song because that was the culture of that little village in the middle of Galicia. Because the Chassidim were there, because the Rebbe was there, because the Torah was there, the land Torah. And aside, so the Rebbe turned to him and said, it was good when the Jews lived here, wasn't it? Oh, Rebbe, it was wonderful. We had parnasa, we all made a living, and everything was beautiful. The people would come and go. Said the Rebbe, we're not coming back. But it was good when we were here. So do me a favor. Take care of the cemetery. For those who died here, take care of that cemetery. We'll give you whatever is necessary for you to make sure that at least they should rest in peace. So the Sefas Emes is talking about this concept. And he explains that it is our intent directly affects the existence or the non-existence of places and things. When we, let's say, for an instance, if we create wealth for the sake of Hashem, because L'Shem Shemayim, because we want to give tzedukah, we want to build moistus, we want to help out shuls, right? So the wealth has an intrinsic spiritual value, and thus it will endure. By the same token, we give importance to negative aspects of this world by avoiding them, by staying away from them, and thus recognizing their role in helping us improve ourselves. So by not going to the wrong website, by not walking in the wrong place, right? That negative place, that aspect, right, gets a certain importance because it is because we recognize that they are there to improve ourselves by staying away from them. So we find this idea clearly in a medrash from Parsha's Matos. The medrash says that when a person grabs wealth for himself by not recognizing Kaviyuchel the Eibish's hand in that wealth, he tends to lose it. The children, the Bnei Reuven and God, were very wealthy. However, their love for their wealth caused them to separate from their brethren, from the rest of Klal Yisrael, and remain outside the land of Israel. They chose to be outside because they were driven by the scent of all their wealth. As a result, the tribes of Reuven and Gad were the first to be sent into Golus. How had the children of Reuven and God recognized that Yad Hashem in their wealth, if they would have seen that the wealth is there for a purpose, and the purpose is Kvod Shemai, right? Then they would have entered the land of together with the rest of the Bnei Yisrael, right? And so therefore, recognizing their abundance as a matana, a gift from Kaviyucha Hashem, would have imbued lasting duration in their affluence. They would have stayed there, but they lost everything. So relating to this same idea, there's another medrash in Parsha's Matos that says that states that the love the children of Reuven and God had for their assets caused them to give their assets greater importance than they even gave them personally themselves. How do I know? So we see this because they tell Moshe Rabbeinu that they would build enclosures for their flocks. In other words, a sheltered place for their flocks. And only afterwards would they build cities for their children. According, we got to take care of the investment. Hoping for the kids, we'll find something for the children. We'll make a school or whatever. First, we got to take care of the investment. So they were more concerned with their wealth, with their investment, than for their own children. Paradoxically, by treating their wealth, their flocks, with secondary importance, they would have ensured a perpetuation of their wealth. So they lost it all because they took that was the most important thing that they thought they had in life. Treating them with primary importance caused that very loss. So I find this amazing because in our world, so much, people will worry about, how many people are willing to realize that the whole hatzlacha of Parnasa and everything is only because Hashem wants you to do with that, with mitzvahs and masim tovim and help each other. But if we think, I got to take care of my investment, it's more important than your children, okay? So you lose the investment. Now, through this period of time that we're all sharing, unfortunately, with this corona, with the lockups and the lockdowns or whatever, it's a time that I've spoken to many of our chevra. People are finding it very difficult. Parnasa, they don't know if they'll even have Parnasa. What's going to happen? Who am I to say? I'm just sharing with you. We'll get through this. We've been through so much, Claudia. So we're in the middle of the 3 weeks. We know what it's about. We've been there. We've been through so much. And time after time, we found that the Aish came and reached out and massaged our heart and gave us koyach. We just have to have the betochen, and we should not lose sight of chavayrim and of sharing with Gitta Fran. And one last thing, just that it has nothing to do with the shir per se, but I reach out to whoever might be listening or seeing this. This thing isn't over yet. The government here in Britain have told, and it's now part of the law, that you must wear a mask when you go shopping inside an enclosed area. Out in the street, you don't need to wear one, but you do have to distance. You can't be too close one to the other. But when you come inside a shul, inside a shopping place, whatever it is, you have to wear a mask. You have to be distancing. And we're trying our best in our shtibel. We distance. On Shabbos, we had a lovely minyan for Tzanach, Shabbos morning. No Kiddush, unfortunately, not yet. But it's hard to wear a mask by davening. But look, for me, it's very hard. I have asthma and I suffer from the breathing problem. But we have to do what's right. We have to be, this is constant for us. Look what's happening in Eretz Yisrael. So I'm asking you, please, please, please watch over each other. I will helfen, wenn man sich treffen, Gesinnte, Bekuret, Mamisch.